Have you ever noticed this? You pick up your phone, start scrolling Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, and just a few minutes later, you feel mentally tired. Not physically tired. You didn't run, you didn't work hard, you didn't study anything difficult, but somehow your brain feels exhausted. Why does that happen? How can something that looks so easy, just scrolling with your thumb, make your brain feel drained, unfocused, or even foggy? Today, we're going to break down the science behind why excessive phone scrolling tires your brain, what's actually happening inside your mind when you scroll endlessly, and most importantly, how to use your phone in a way that protects your brain instead of burning it out. If you use your phone every day, this video is for you. Most people think scrolling on their phone is a form of rest. You sit down, you relax your body, you're not working, you're not studying, you're just scrolling. So it feels like your brain should be resting too. But here's the truth. Your brain is actually working very hard when you scroll. Let's break down why. Number one, the brain is constantly processing information. When you scroll on your phone, your brain is doing multiple jobs at the same time. Think about what happens in just 1 minute of scrolling. You see an image, then a video starts playing automatically, there's text on the screen, there's background music, someone is talking, there are captions moving, there are comments below. And then you decide, do I keep watching or do I scroll again? That decision alone requires brain energy. Even though it feels passive, your brain is actively analyzing visual information, processing sound, reading language, interpreting emotions, and making rapid decisions. This happens every few seconds. So instead of resting, your brain is in a state of continuous activity. Number two, why this is different from real rest. Real mental rest looks very different. For example, sitting quietly, walking slowly, looking at nature, letting your mind wander, doing one simple task without stimulation. During real rest, the brain can slow down, but scrolling does the opposite. Scrolling keeps your brain in a state of constant alertness. Your brain is always asking, what's next? Is this interesting? Should I keep watching? There is no pause, no silence, no stillness, no mental recovery. That's why after scrolling, you don't feel refreshed, you feel drained. Number three, cognitive overload. Too much, too fast. In neuroscience and psychology, there is a term for this, cognitive overload. Cognitive overload happens when the brain receives too much information in a short period of time. Your brain has a limited capacity. It can only process so much information at once. Social media platforms are designed to push that limit. They deliver fast content, high contrast visuals, emotional triggers, and endless novelty, all packed into short clips. Your brain never gets enough time to fully process one piece of information before the next one arrives, so the information starts to pile up. This overload creates mental fatigue, not because the content is difficult, but because there is too much of it. Number four, the always-on mode of the brain. When you scroll, your brain enters what we can call an always-on mode. It's similar to leaving your computer on with many apps running in the background. Even if you're not actively using them all, they still consume energy. Scrolling does the same thing to your brain. Different brain networks are constantly activating. Visual processing networks, language networks, emotional centers, decision-making areas. They switch on and off rapidly, over and over. This rapid switching is exhausting. The brain prefers one task, one focus, one stream of information. Scrolling forces the brain to multitask at a speed it was never designed for. Number five, why it feels easy but drains you. Here's the dangerous part.
Because scrolling feels easy, we underestimate how tiring it is. There's no physical movement, no sweating, no obvious effort. But mental effort doesn't always feel loud. Sometimes it feels quiet until later. That's why many people say, "I didn't do anything today, but I'm exhausted." The exhaustion isn't physical, it's neurological. Your brain has been working non-stop without recovery. Number 6, the comparison with a computer. Think of your brain like a computer. If you open a browser with 30 tabs, music playing, videos running, notifications popping up, what happens? The computer slows down, it heats up, the battery drains faster. Scrolling does exactly that to your brain. Every new piece of content is like opening a new tab, and because scrolling never ends, the tabs never close. Number 7, why your brain needs gaps and silence. Your brain needs gaps to recover. Moments of silence, moments of boredom, moments with no new input. These gaps allow the brain to process information, consolidate memory, reset attention systems. Scrolling removes those gaps completely. There is always something new, always something louder, always something more interesting. Without gaps, the brain cannot reset, and without reset, fatigue builds up. Number 8, the illusion of relaxation. This is why scrolling is a false form of rest. It looks relaxing, it feels effortless, but it keeps your brain overstimulated. Real rest often feels boring at first. Scrolling feels entertaining, but leaves you tired. That difference matters.
To understand why scrolling makes your brain feel exhausted, we need to talk about one powerful chemical in the brain: dopamine. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, but that's not completely accurate. Dopamine is not just about pleasure. It's about motivation, anticipation, and wanting more. And scrolling is one of the strongest dopamine-triggering activities in modern life. Number 1, every scroll is a dopamine gamble. When you scroll your phone, you never know what's coming next. The next video might make you laugh, shock you, inspire you, teach you something, or be completely boring. That uncertainty is very important. Your brain loves unpredictability. In neuroscience, this is called a variable reward system. It's the same system used in slot machines, gambling, video games. Every swipe is like pulling a lever. Your brain thinks, maybe the next one will be better, and that thought alone releases dopamine. Number 2, dopamine spikes happen fast. When you see something exciting or emotionally stimulating, dopamine spikes quickly. It's a short burst of motivation and excitement. You feel interested, alert, engaged, curious. That's why scrolling feels good at first. But here's the key problem. Dopamine spikes during scrolling are very short-lived. They go up fast and they come down fast. Number 3, the crash after the spike. After dopamine spikes, it naturally drops, and when it drops below baseline, you feel empty, bored, unmotivated, mentally tired. So what does the brain do? It looks for the fastest way to bring dopamine back up, and the fastest way is more scrolling. This creates a loop. Scroll, dopamine spike. Dopamine drops, feel bored or tired, scroll again. Over time, this constant up and down cycle becomes exhausting for the brain. Number 4, why this is mentally draining. Your brain prefers stability. Slow, steady dopamine levels support focus, motivation, and emotional balance. But scrolling creates rapid fluctuations. Think of it like revving a car engine. Gas, brake, over and over again.
Eventually, the engine overheats. That's exactly what happens to your brain. The constant dopamine swings create mental fatigue, emotional flatness, and reduced motivation for real-life tasks. Number 5. Why normal life feels boring after scrolling. After intense dopamine stimulation, normal activities feel dull. Things like reading, studying, working, having a quiet conversation. These activities produce lower, slower dopamine. Compared to scrolling, they don't feel exciting, so your brain resists them. This is why many people say, "I have no motivation after scrolling." It's not laziness, it's a dopamine imbalance. Number 6. The coffee analogy. Think of dopamine like caffeine. 1 cup of coffee can help you feel alert, but if you drink coffee all day, you crash, you feel jittery, you feel more tired later. Scrolling is like drinking small shots of dopamine all day long. Each one feels good for a moment, but together they leave you exhausted. Number 7. Dopamine is not the enemy. Dopamine is not bad. You need dopamine to set goals, stay motivated, feel drive and purpose. The problem is how fast and how often dopamine is triggered. Scrolling delivers too much, too fast, with no recovery, and the brain pays the price. Number 8. Why this leads to mental fatigue. When dopamine is constantly spiking and crashing, attention systems get tired, emotional regulation weakens, mental clarity drops. That's why after long scrolling sessions, people report brain fog, low energy, irritability, lack of focus. Your brain isn't broken, it's overstimulated.
One of the most damaging effects of constant phone scrolling is not just mental fatigue, it's the destruction of your ability to focus. Many people today say, "I can't concentrate anymore. I get distracted so easily. I start something, but I can't finish it." This is not a coincidence. Your brain is being trained every day by how you use your phone. 1. Scrolling trains your brain to switch, not focus. When you scroll, your brain is forced to switch attention constantly. Think about the pattern. A 5-second video, then a 10-second video, then a photo, then text, then another video. Each piece of content demands your attention, but only briefly. So your brain learns one rule: pay attention, but not for long. Over time, this becomes the brain's default mode. Instead of deep focus, your brain becomes good at quick scanning, rapid switching, short bursts of attention. This is useful for scrolling, but terrible for real life. 2. Attention is a skill, and it can be weakened. Focus is not something you either have or don't have. Focus is a trainable skill. Just like muscles in the body, use them correctly, they get stronger. Use them poorly, they weaken. Scrolling constantly trains the brain to avoid sustained attention. So when you try to read a book, study, work deeply, learn a new skill, your brain resists, not because you're lazy, but because it's not trained for that kind of attention anymore. 3. The cost of constant context switching. In neuroscience, constantly switching attention has a cost. Every time your brain switches from one thing to another, it burns energy. This is called attention residue. Part of your brain stays stuck on the previous content while you try to focus on the next task. Scrolling creates thousands of micro switches. By the time you stop scrolling, your attention system is already exhausted. That's why after scrolling, you feel scattered, foggy, unable to focus. Your attention system is worn out. 5. Why deep focus starts to feel uncomfortable. Deep focus requires silence, stillness, patience. Scrolling removes all three. So when you sit down to focus, your brain feels restless, bored, uncomfortable. It starts craving stimulation. You might notice reaching for your phone without thinking, opening new tabs constantly, checking notifications even when there are none. This is not lack of discipline. It's a brain that has been conditioned to expect constant novelty. 6. Short content shrinks your attention window. Most social media content is designed to be short. That's not accidental. Short content keeps people engaged longer, but with shallow attention. Over time, your brain adapts to this pattern. Your attention window shrinks. What once felt normal, like reading for 30 minutes, now feels exhausting after 5 minutes. The brain says, "This is too slow. Where's the next hit?" This is how scrolling silently steals your ability to stay focused. 7. Why this affects learning and creativity. Focus is the foundation of learning, problem-solving, and creativity. When focus weakens, learning becomes harder, memory becomes weaker, creative thinking drops. You can consume a lot of information, but you struggle to understand, connect, and apply it. That's why many people feel busy but not productive, stimulated but not fulfilled. 8. Focus fatigue leads to mental exhaustion. When your attention system is constantly pulled in different directions, your brain burns more energy than it should. This leads to mental exhaustion, irritability, and reduced motivation. And the more tired your brain becomes, the harder it is to focus. It becomes a vicious cycle. Scroll, weaker focus, more scrolling. 9. This is reversible, but awareness comes first. The good news is this: your brain is adaptable. Just as scrolling trained your brain to lose focus, intentional habits can train it back. But the first step is awareness. You must understand that every scroll is a lesson for your brain, and your brain learns exactly what you repeat.
By now, you understand the problem. Scrolling overloads your brain, creates dopamine crashes, weakens your focus. So the big question is, what should you do instead? Do you need to quit your phone completely? No, you don't need to throw your phone away. You don't need to disappear from social media. The goal is not to stop using your phone. The goal is to use it intelligently. Let's talk about practical, realistic solutions. Number 1, stop using your phone as rest. The first mindset shift is this: scrolling is not rest. If you treat scrolling as rest, your brain never truly recovers. Instead, separate these two ideas: phone use, mental recovery. Rest should actually help your brain recharge. Real rest includes silence, low stimulation, slower pace. So the first solution is simple. D. Stop replacing rest with scrolling. Number 2, set clear boundaries for scrolling. Your brain needs limits. Without boundaries, scrolling becomes endless. A simple rule that works well: scroll for 20 to 30 minutes max, then stop and take a break. During that break, stand up, walk, stretch, look away from screens. Even 5 to 10 minutes makes a difference. Why does this help? Because it gives your brain a chance to lower stimulation, reset attention, stabilize dopamine. Boundaries protect your brain from overload. Number 3, never scroll right before bed. One of the most damaging habits is scrolling at night. Before sleep, your brain needs to slow down. Scrolling does the opposite. It keeps dopamine high, activates emotional centers, exposes your eyes to bright light. This damages sleep quality, memory consolidation, mental recovery. A powerful rule: no scrolling at least 60 minutes before bed. Replace it with reading, light stretching, journaling, quiet thinking. Your brain will thank you the next morning. Number 4, replace scrolling with deep activities. Your brain doesn't just need less stimulation, it needs better stimulation. Deep activities help rebuild focus and mental strength. Examples include reading a physical book, writing or journaling, walking without headphones, quiet thinking, learning one skill deeply. These activities feel boring at first. That's normal. Boredom is not a problem.
it's a reset point for the brain. When you allow boredom, your attention system slowly heals. Number 5, train focus like a muscle. Remember, focus is a skill, and skills can be trained. Start small. Instead of forcing yourself to focus for 1 hour, try 10 minutes of deep focus, no phone, one task. Then slowly increase to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Each session strengthens your attention system. Over time, focus becomes easier and scrolling becomes less tempting. Number 6, change how you use your phone. You can also redesign your phone to support your brain. Simple changes: turn off non-essential notifications, remove apps that encourage endless scrolling, keep social media off your home screen, use grayscale mode occasionally. These small changes reduce stimulation without requiring willpower. Your environment shapes your behavior. Number 7, create phone-free zones. Your brain needs safe spaces. Create rules like no phone during meals, no phone in the bedroom, no phone during deep work. These zones teach your brain this is a place for focus and recovery. Consistency matters more than perfection. Number 8, why this actually works. When you reduce excessive scrolling, dopamine stabilizes, focus improves, mental energy returns. You don't become less productive, you become clearer. Life feels slower but deeper. Number 9, key takeaway of part 4.
At this point, one thing should be very clear. Your phone is not the problem. The problem is how unconsciously we use it. Scrolling itself is not evil. Technology is not your enemy. But mindless, uncontrolled scrolling slowly drains your brain without you noticing. And that's what makes it dangerous. 1. Let's recap what's really happening. When you scroll excessively, your brain is not resting. It is overloaded with information. Your dopamine is constantly spiking and crashing, leaving you mentally tired and unmotivated. Your ability to focus weakens, making deep work, learning, and creativity harder. And over time, this doesn't just affect your productivity, it affects how you experience life. You feel busy but not fulfilled, stimulated but not satisfied, connected but mentally exhausted. 2. The most important truth. Here is the most important idea of this entire video. What you consume every day is training your brain. Not sometimes, not occasionally, every single day. Your brain adapts to the speed of information, the level of stimulation, the type of attention you give. So, if you train your brain on endless novelty, short attention, constant dopamine hits, that's the brain you will build. But the opposite is also true. 3. Small choices, big consequences. Most people think brain health is about intelligence, genetics, or motivation, but in reality, it's about daily habits. Tiny choices like scrolling when bored, checking your phone during every pause, ending your day on social media. These choices feel small, but repeated daily, they shape your focus, your energy, your emotional balance. You don't lose your mental strength all at once. You lose it gradually. 4. Awareness is power. The moment you become aware, you regain control. You stop asking, "Why am I so tired?" and start asking, "What am I doing to my brain every day?" Awareness turns automatic behavior into intentional behavior, and intention is where change begins. 5. You don't need perfection. This is important. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to quit social media. You don't need to become extreme. You just need conscious use. Use your phone with limits, with purpose, with awareness. Even small changes can dramatically improve focus, mental clarity, and brain energy. 6. Rebuilding your brain takes time, and that's okay. If your focus feels weak right now, that doesn't mean you're broken. It means your brain adapted to your environment,
And adaptation works both ways. With less scrolling, more silence, more deep activities, your brain slowly recovers. Focus becomes easier, thinking becomes clearer, motivation returns. Not overnight, but steadily. 7. A simple question to end with. Here's a question I want you to think about. Is your phone serving your life, or is your life serving your phone? There is no judgment here, only awareness. Because the moment you choose to use your phone consciously, you take back control of your attention. And attention is your most valuable resource. 8. Final message. Remember this. What you look at every day is shaping how your brain works. Protect your focus. Protect your mental energy. Protect your brain. Not by avoiding technology, but by using it wisely.